Hi everyone, my name is Shannon Bellum. You are on my channel, Whiskey and Wool. I'm just gonna fix the camera slightly. It's a little angled. I think that's good, maybe. Sorry about the rocking right there. I know that can make some people, it makes me motion sick when people walk around with their cameras. I have to be very careful. I think that's good. I don't know if I ever showed you I replaced the poster that was made by Katie Green of the Green Bean podcast, and I think she has an Etsy shop, Katie Green Bean. She's an English UK illustrator, and she does a lot of really interesting work. I would recommend her. I'll put her in my show notes so you can see. But I replaced the poster. That's a poster of the cheap breeds of UK, of the British Isles. I think it's the British Isles. I think it's the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to my podcast. Welcome back, returning viewers, and welcome new viewers alike. I am going to talk about the giveaway, and then I'm going to be talking a little bit about knitting community stuff that's going on, and then I'm going to show you my knitting and my spinning from the past couple weeks. I really feel like I've been the crafting queen. I've been trying to understand Tour de Fleece and understand exactly what it means. I think I'll have a better grasp next year because I've never really paid attention, not being a spinner. But if you're a new viewer, I've just learned how to spin. I learned how to spin around the end of May, so I'm 6 weeks along in my learning how to be a spinner. But I'm going to show you, I'll talk about that when I get to the spinning portion. But first, I want to do the giveaway. So I had, hold on, drinking tea. It's a David's Tea Honey Drop. I don't love it, but it's good for when your throat is a little itchy. And I've been really sick the past 2 weeks, which meant that I actually got a lot of crafting done because I was hanging around the house. Okay, giveaway time. First, let me just show you. I had 30 comments. It was a mixture of new and returning. I'm giving away, I wish I could give something to all of you. I actually thought about it for a minute. I was like, wow, 30 of them, that's not a lot. Like maybe I could, and then I just realized that was just crazy. So, but I really, really appreciate each and every comment and the support about the content from my last video, and the support that I got, and also the questions. I don't mind adversarial queries. I didn't have to delete any. I did moderate comments, but I didn't delete anything. So anything anybody posted, you saw, and I responded to the ones that I thought were more adversarial and questioning why I was saying some of the things I was saying about my last video. If you are just a new viewer now, my last video I talked about the no hate speech, no Trump supporting speech on Ravalery, that their new policy. But more stuff has happened in that arena, not on Ravalery but on Instagram this week, or this past 2 weeks. So I have more to say, which I'll get to. So anyway, I am gifting a fade to one person who commented about what they would do with the yarn if they got it. And I got a couple good ideas, thank you, from those of you who posted what your ideas were for this little foursome. I'm going to just show them quickly, this is unsponsored, but I just want to show off these yarn dyers that I love. So especially the first two. The last one I don't know very well, but she seems lovely. So this is Teenybutton Studio, Robin, and she lives in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I think they say New Orleans down there, Louisiana, and yeah, this is Frolicking Felines. I think it's one of her Harry Potter colors. It may be a special club color. I don't know. She did a big sale towards the end of last year, and that's where I got this. I got a bunch of stuff from her that time around. The next lightest color is by GarnStories, one of my most favorite yarn dyers, and she is a German yarn dyer, and this is a very special color. It's from her first surprise club that she did in, I believe it was in 2018. So this is surprise color number 3. It's just a beautiful buff color with some lime green and fuchsia and black and gold and orange speckles. It's really gorgeous. So, and it just goes beautifully with the teeny buttons. They will fade beautifully. And the third darkest color is GarnStories again. This is Flying Circus, the color. It's a mid-tone pink with some dark pink speckles and some browny beige color in there. Very, very pretty. Will look great with the other two. And then the final color, this is Airdelune. She is a French dyer who lives in New England in the Boston area, I believe, and this is called Cherry Blossom Song. She I found her on Instagram and I just fell in love with this color. It's a deep pink with dark red and black speckles. And she, at the time I bought this last year, she had been dyeing to, she was getting inspiration from photos. So I don't know if she's still doing that. I haven't checked out what she's selling lately, but yeah, so those are the 4 that I'm giving away. I made a list of the 30 comments. I was making sure that I was taking out anything that was not a comment that was about other stuff, not specific to the giveaway. So I only addressed people who answered the prompt in the giveaway. And that's how I got my 30 comments. I assigned you each a number, and now I'm going to use a random number generator between numbers 1 and 30, and good luck, everyone. Oh, it's number 16. Can you see that? Number 16 is Sarah Smith. So Sarah, please get in touch with me. You could get in touch with me either on Ravelry or on I'm Whiskey and Wool on Ravelry, and I'm Whiskey and Wool on Instagram. So any platform is fine. Just DM me, or you can use my email, which I'll put in my show notes instead of putting it on screen here. So which way. I don't know what platform you use, Sarah, but congratulations. I think you said you were gonna make a fade shawl. I think I'll have to check that out. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what you make. And again, I love all of you. I wish I could give you all something. So hang in there. I will have more giveaways for sure. Okay. That is that. Okay. So I want to talk about, this is actually my second time. I want to just say this first because I think this is important. This is my second time recording this video. I hadn't picked the winner on screen last time. That's not why I redid it. I actually didn't pick a winner at all. After I was done recording, I closed my computer and decided I would edit later. And in the course of time between when I decided that I was going to edit to when I was going to, or from when I recorded to when I was going to edit, I decided that I was a little evasive about what happened the past couple weeks, and I decided that it was super important for me and anyone who has a platform where they are talking to other knitters or other people, other crafters in the crafting community, that it was super important to talk directly and not be evasive about what happened, and to share my reaction. I think it is irresponsible to not do that. So if you are another YouTuber, please share your reaction. I said this before, I said this in my other video, there's no fence sitting on the issues of racism, and in the issues of hate speech, and the issues of white fragility and white supremacy. There is no fence sitting. You cannot sit this out. If you're putting yourself out there in any way, shape, or form, whether you're putting yourself out there as a vlogger like I am right now, or you're putting yourself out there as a yarn dyer, or you're putting yourself out there as someone who's creating content, for the knitting community, I just do not believe you're not safe for anyone if you're not making your views known. You can't hide behind a big corporate label. It's just, yeah, no, you can't. So that's my opinion. Of course, you may think differently, or maybe it's not important to you. You just want to buy the pretty things and you don't really care about the person, the face behind the pretty thing you're buying. That's whatever, your choice. But to me, it's important to know. I want to know. I believe in accountability. I want to know where you stand if I'm going to buy your stuff. And the funny thing was when all of the proverbial shit hit the fan with the expansion of Ravalery's hate speech policy, and a lot of people got their panties in a twist about, oh, but I support Trump and I'm not a racist. Well, first of all, that's a whole nother story about that. Yes, you are. You should identify what it is, why you're okay with supporting a president who thinks the way he does, especially what he did this week. If you were, what I recognize in myself, I want to focus on my own thoughts about this. You may have your own, and you're welcome to share them down in the comments. I will moderate them though, and keep people from making this unsafe, this space. I will block people. I haven't had to yet because everyone's been very polite. But if anyone, people have been civil and respectful. If I see disrespect, there is a lot of trolls on YouTube too. So there's a lot of people that are zoning in on some of the Trumpeteers, I guess, zoning in on Trump, this, what they perceive as hate for Trump, blah, 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 and just going on and saying crap on everyone's videos, whether it's pro or whatever, just instigators, I guess. So those people will be blocked. Civil questions and convo and asking me for clarity on something I said and holding me accountable for things that I said, I welcome that. That's not bullying, so don't worry, and I will be watching. So I don't want anyone to think they need to jump to my defense at all. Okay, where was I? I made notes, so they're over here. I realized last time, 2 weeks ago, that I would be just fine if I could only buy yarn and patterns from people of color. That if it meant, I knew the minute I saw the policy, I 100% supported it, and I was going to speak out about it, which I did, about supporting it, and that if none of the if people that I was accustomed to buying from were not going to support it, I was okay not buying from them. Because I could see right away the people that were jumping in right away and going, thank you, Ravelry, thank you. I could see that those were people whose values I shared and who I respect. And I was fine with, after about a 10-second, oh my goodness, this is going to change who I buy from, I was at peace with it. I was at peace with it because I design. So, that's, if I couldn't, say if I never made an Andrea Mowry anyway, or any of the other, white designers, Stephen West, any of them, if I could never make any of their stuff again, I was okay with that. And yarn-wise, I've said this over and over anyway, the market's saturated with yarn dyers. So we, all of us, get to choose who to buy from. It's impossible to buy from all of the yarn dyers. So we get to choose. So there's no reason. It's not like there's one or two or three or even 5 producers. There's hundreds. So find the ones whose values match yours and buy from them. Don't settle. You don't have to settle. You have my permission to not settle, and buy from anybody whose values you don't respect, no matter what those values are, whether it's their thoughts on racism or their thoughts on hate speech or their thoughts on the environment or their thoughts on eating meat. I mean, whatever it is, you know, they'll all take your money, no matter who you are. They will all take your money. Don't worry. It's just a matter of, you know, who do you want your money to go to? So, you know, as customers, we have that power. Exercise it. That's what I'm saying. So what happened this last, I think it was about 10 days ago. I'm going to give you a little synopsis. I'm not going to get too deep into the whole story. And I'm also going to tell you where to go if you want first-hand accounts. I'm not going to out any particular person because I don't want, except for the person who basically violated community standards, I would say, or just violated the community, I guess is probably the way to say it. I will name him, but I'm not going to put a target on any BIPOC people or LGBTQ people who were outspoken. I will tell you where you can find more information. If I understand, I respect wanting to hear the story directly, so I will tell you where to go for that. So it'll be in my show notes, because if I say it here and I put it on the screen here, where to see that, YouTube will, because it's a hashtag, I'm going to send you to a hashtag, so I'm going to write it hashtag instead of putting actually the cross mark, because if I put the cross mark, YouTube will then take that and put that in my, it'll make it searchable by that hashtag, and I don't want that to happen. I'm giving you, my viewer, information. I'm not going to send that information out to the internet. So the sock magician, Nathan, I'm not sure what his last name is, I don't remember, but sock magician, you may have heard of him, may have not. I was surprised how many people had not heard of him. He had a massive following on Instagram, close to 30,000 followers. I have a fairly small following here, and I have a little bit larger, slightly larger following on Instagram. I don't even know what it's like to have, I don't have even 1,000 there though, so I don't know what it's like to have 30,000, but he has a following. He has now canceled his account, but you can still find him by his hashtag. Okay, so you can find posts about him by his hashtag, and then just click recent, and then you'll be able to read stories, first-hand accounts, and reactions about him. He wrote a poem basically he said that he created the hashtag Diversity, and that it now had 17,000 posts, and that he was basically expressing the fact that he was a little unhappy with the way it had been used by people, and as if he owned it, which he doesn't, because when you put something out there, no matter if you coin the phrase or not, then, you know, it's no longer yours, especially a hashtag. It's not proprietary stuff by in any court of law, I guess, or any stretch of the imagination. I can't even imagine, but whatever. Moving on, that was a tangent. Moving on, he wrote this poem and basically was telling people to calm down and shut up. Like, that was the tone of it. That was the way. There was some interpretation, some way that he worded it. Words are tricky, you know. Words can be misinterpreted very easily. That's why, like, I don't mind taking the time to explain to people when I listen to their perception about what I said. I don't mind taking the time to say, well, okay, I see that you could see that, but here's what I meant, and I'm happy to clarify. I think that comes with teaching, because as a teacher, I think I'm being crystal clear all the time, but my students have questions. So that's just the way that goes. Anyway, there was a lot of questioning about some of the things that he said in this poem that I think he intended to be cutesy. And sorry, cat's scratching on the window over there. It's really funny. Anyway, and people were upset with some of the things. It sounded like tone policing, it sounded like he was basically telling people to be quiet and just go back to their knitting, which undermines all the hard work that so many people of color, women of color in particular, have done the last 7 months, raising awareness of their experiences in the knitting community and their negative experiences in the knitting community. So when he was called out, he felt attacked, and he didn't moderate the comments. So there was a lot of, what happens though, this is very bad. It's very important to always moderate your comments, because if you post something that's inflammatory and people who know you come to your defense, and people who are interpreting your words in a negative way, and you don't moderate, what happens down in the comments is that it becomes like a brawl. It really becomes like a brawl. It's a verbal brawl, but it's still a brawl, and it's horrible. I experienced that a few weeks ago with the Ravalery thing. I stepped in. I was angry about something someone had written, and I stepped in and said a couple words, and wow, the supporters of that person, I was criticizing what the person said, and just saying, this isn't clear, you're not clear, can you clarify what you mean? And I got jumped all over by that person's supporter. Again, asking for clarity and holding someone accountable is not bullying. That is not bullying, but I was told I was a bully. There's also another podcaster who will go in depth with this whole entire story. She goes on about it for about 45 minutes, and it's Geordieknits. So I'll put that down in my description box too. She's got she's a podcast on YouTube, so you can click on over to her channel. Also has a kind of small following. It's really grown because people have been talking about her. I'm going to come back to her because there was something she said in that podcast that was it was revealing. But anyway, yeah. So he basically ran away from the podcast, and then his husband posted and said, he's in the hospital now, and it's all your fault. And I mean, that was the implication. I didn't see that post because I got really disgusted with what I read in the first post and the fact that he wasn't moderating the comments, so I just stopped watching. There were plenty of people that were in there saying the same thing I was thinking, and about an hour or two later, when the post came out from the husband saying that he was in the hospital, he was in the hospital for whatever reason, like he never even said. I'm sure he had his whatever, we all are responsible for our own self-care. So to say that it was because of some of the negative comments was the implication in the message, that was not appropriate. It weaponized his mental health, and that's inappropriate. And then a few days later, he showed up at Yarningham, which was, I think I said that right, Yarningham. I'm going to put that on screen, at a yarn festival in England, and he was doing book signings and all smiles and happy, and there seemed to be no health issues, and this was all the while not addressing, not saying, hey guys, sorry, I meant well, but I screwed up and I'm learning, and nothing, no apology, not that. But anyway, yeah, so he never said anything, and I had already decided that I was done, and I didn't need this man or his products in my life. So yeah, there was an altercation at that event between him and a woman of color who was also vending at the event, and Geordieknits witnessed this exchange, and because there was a lot of like people going, well, you know, maybe she was attacking him, and apparently he really got in her face, and it was unprovoked, other than she just said, hey, I wanted to just talk to you about your posts, in a very calm and quiet way. And he got very angry and reacted so strongly that the organizers removed him. And honestly, like, if that doesn't wake up all organizers of all events in the knitting community, not to him necessarily, but like to everyone, I mean, to screen. They need to screen, like, because who you are online is who you are in life. I mean, maybe it's a version of yourself that you're presenting online, but I don't know, racist online, racist in life. You know, it's a version of yourself, but maybe it's not the whole you, but it's you. So, yeah, I think that's a wake-up call to organizations. But that's basically a nutshell version of what happened, and this won't be the last. What happened, what's been happening the last 7 months with a lot of the women of color in particular, and people in marginalized communities that are trying to be part of the larger knitting community, the conversations that they have been having with each other and with people that look like me, they're not going to stop. This isn't gonna go away. So if you're waiting for this to go away, then you need to unsubscribe and get off of follow cats or dogs or whatever on Instagram. Stop following knitting, because it's not gonna stop. This thing with Nathan, the sockmatician, this is just the beginning. There's gonna be others. There will be others that will emerge. Because I think the accountability factor, I'm not the only one who it's important to know what people think on this issue. So people are gonna be pressed. They're going to get, maybe they'll feel cornered into saying that they have to say something, or they're gonna lose business. And that's the way it is. This is the world we live in now. So I'm okay with it, because I know who I am. And like I said, there's no reason why your values can't match up with the values of the person that you're buying from. And, that's the way we're going to do business now. So, I mean, a lot of people do business that way anyway. Like, I know people who won't buy anything made in China, and people who won't buy anything plastic and don't use plastic in their lives, and will make sure that everything they buy is from sustainable sources. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is just yet another thing that is important in the scope of who you're buying from. So, especially in this industry, in this knitting industry, I think publications in particular are going to need to step up and talk about where they stand. Publications and bigger companies, as well as small companies. Small company, there's nowhere to hide if you're a one-person business. There's nowhere to hide. So you are your business. So it's absolutely important, and of the utmost importance that you share who you are, where you stand on this. You don't have to share everything about yourself, but where you stand. I had one more thing I was going to say. Oh, be aware of people who say all are welcome here, because that could be interpreted as an invitation to share whatever views you want. So just be a little cautious. I know I am not 100% dismissing them, but they're like 95% dismissed. If you're saying all are welcome here, be careful. Be clear. and by clear and careful, what I want to give what I think is a pretty good example. I think it could be better. Stephen B. of Stephen B. Knits, he has a yarn shop in Chicago area, I believe. He put a statement out after the Ravalery announcement saying that if you were kind, they would be kind in return. So he implied that all were welcome as long as you weren't acting hateful. So, and I get, like, if you have a brick and mortar business, it's a little harder to be, you want to be a little more cautious. I understand that. But on the other hand, what that said to me when I saw his statement was, okay, local yarn shops are not safe spaces, which the people of color have been saying that all along. So I was like, I get it now. They're not safe because some of them are saying they'll let anything fly, and that's not okay. And I don't think they mean it that way, but by saying all are welcome, that's what you're doing, because all means the haters too, and it means white supremacists too. And I don't want to go anywhere there's people like that. So, and I don't think many of us do. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Again, if you have more to say, you want to hear more about any of this, or, I'm happy to dialogue down in the comments, or if you'd like to take it offline, you can email me or direct message me on Ravelry or on Instagram. Instagram's harder to deal with direct message, to be honest. It's good for quick convo, but not so good for long convo. So, but I appreciate every comment that I get. I really do. I mean, I've got a tiny little community here, and I adore all of you. And like I said, I really wanted to give everybody something. I'll have to figure out another occasion for a giveaway. Okay, finished objects. I was so productive this last couple weeks since I last podcast. I know it's been like 2.5 weeks. So, and I really didn't knit much the last 2 or 3 days. I've been really, really sick. I was supposed to be on vacation, and I just got really, really sick. I got a sinus infection, and then I had pink eye, and then because I kept touching my face, I didn't wash my hands enough. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. And then I naturally have gut issues. I have diverticulosis, which quickly becomes diverticulitis if I don't take care of myself and I don't manage my stress well. So I didn't have a flare-up. I didn't have a flare-up yet, but antibiotics can cause a flare-up. So I'm on antibiotics. I'm on my last day. Hopefully I sailed through. I pop a lot of probiotics. I drink a lot of probiotic drinks, and just try to be healthy, like eat healthy, eat well, eat low. I don't eat any processed foods. That's a huge diverticulitis thing. So sorry, I don't mean to go on a diverticulitis tangent. Okay, I'm gonna put my tea over here so it doesn't spill on the knitting. So this is Martha's wearing one of my finished objects. Oh, I came from work, so I'm just wearing a cute little black polo shirt. Yeah, no big deal. It's super hot the last few days. It's going to be 100 degrees on Saturday here, they're saying. It'll probably be hotter, but it's so hot. So I am not wearing any knitting today. I just wanted to record this afternoon. But anyway, yeah, this is my Boy Lollipop by Nancy Ritchie. She's a fun follow on Instagram. She's the happiest lady. Like, I love her little stories. If you haven't followed her, given her a follow. She is a knitwear designer and a knitter, and I made a lot of mods. I'm gonna pop a picture on here of what her version looks like, so you can see my mods. I think last time I was still finishing it up. I think I had to do the bottom still and the sleeve trim. So I knit, when I knit the piece, first of all I went 3 sizes bigger than what she recommended. She recommended, I think, around a 3 to 4 inch negative ease. I didn't want negative ease, so I went up to a size that was going to give me 1 inch ease, and I actually got more. I think probably have more like 4 inches of positive ease. I think it's a result of my yarn, which I'll talk to you about in a sec. So I went up that big of a size, like, and then when I got to the parts where she tells you to decrease, I just kept going straight because I really loved the way the As If tee by Shea Johnson fit, like, and it's a very boxy cut. So I thought, I want the same boxy cut. I just want this sort of sweetheart neckline that Nancy had designed. So I bought her pattern and followed the pattern instructions. So yeah, knit straight, and then I didn't do a rib bottom. Instead, I did a seed stitch bottom because her pattern did have a seed stitch neckline, a seed stitch sleeve, and then so then I thought, well, I'm going to put a seed stitch bottom because I want that boxy hang. So yeah, all successful. What was not successful was the neck. So I don't know if it was because I went up a few sizes or because of my yarn maybe grew. I don't know. I know my yarn definitely grew a little bit. It wasn't superwash, but it seemed to have grown anyway. The yarn is my hand spun. So this is my very first hand spun sweater. I bought a bat from Spin City before I even took the drop spindle class with Alex Creates, because that's how I learned to spin, from Alex Creates. And I love that I can now say that to him. You taught me how to spin. So I took a drop spindle class, and ahead of that class, I placed an order with Spin City. Spin City was a vendor at EYF. I didn't pay any attention because at that point I wasn't spinning or planning to spin. It was sort of an impromptu, speedy thought that I was gonna just go ahead and spin. And so I bought a bat and I spun it. After I sort of fudged and fiddled around, I spun it, and My Boy Lollipop came out, and I thought, oh my gosh, this would make a good My Boy Lollipop, and it swatched out to gauge, so I was in good shape there. And then I realized that I thought I would first I think if you go back a couple episodes, you'll hear me sort of going through how can I make this work? And I was thinking I would add on an indie dyed skein of something and just finish out the bottom. But then I thought later, well, why don't I get another bat and make another skein, and then I'll have enough to do the whole entire sweater. And I don't have it over here, but I literally just have like a little tiny, like maybe like 2 or 3 yards left of the second skein. You can see the color differentiation. So the second bat that came was more blue and the purple was darker. The lime green that you can see in both of them, I think you can see it well, right? There's a little bit of a backlight, but maybe if I turn it, there's some backlight. I'm not using my studio lights today because I thought the natural light was really pretty right now. And I think it works well if things are close, but I don't know. Should I get the studio lights? Yeah, the sun is setting. It's afternoon. So, so there you can see the difference in where I did the changeover. There's a deep burgundy color in the yarn right here that was the same in both skeins, and that limey green is the same in both skeins. And then there was a lot of white. All the white that you see in there is silk. So I really didn't enjoy spinning that silk mixed with the wool. When she made her bat, they were layered. They weren't blended, right? So if you buy top, they're usually blended. Silk and wool will be blended together, and then you don't notice it so much. But this was very different, so I was like going for long stretches where there was just white. And then I plied it, so the white paired up with a color, but you still see like these, you can see them throughout both skeins, like all the white in there is silk. So yeah, that's My Boy Lollipop. Oh, the neck, I forgot to tell you, the neck was so big. After I blocked it, it was off my shoulders, and you all know, if you're a returning viewer, I have a large chest, and going braless is not an option. So I showed my bra straps. I couldn't make it work. I was just like, there's no way. If I were a younger woman, maybe, but I just couldn't figure it out. And so I realized that I channeled my inner Amy from Stranded Dye Works, because she does sweater surgery all the time, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna do sweater surgery, because I was really trying to figure out what to do. And I thought about, my first knee-jerk response was, let me find someone who this fits, and let them have it. But then I thought, no, I can do sweater surgery. And at that point I had a pretty substantial amount of the second skein left. And I cut the band out. So this was seed stitch. I cut it away. Then I did 3 rounds in the stockinette where I continued the decrease here and the decreases on the armhole. So I did 3 rounds of that, decreasing a total of 20 more stitches to bring it all in. And then I did a 1x1 rib for a few rows and bound off. So that was, I'll put pictures of the surgery. I took a couple pictures of the surgery, so I'll put those in here. They're also on my Ravalery project page. Yeah, so I am happy with this. I've worn it a few times. I love it. I think it's a little bit shorter than what I intended, and I think that was because of the surgery, because when I stitched the tighter neck, it all kind of pulled up and pulled in, so it went up and over my shoulders a little more, and I think that pulled up the length too. But it still works. It's cute. It looks great. I'll put pictures here of me wearing it so you can see that too. But yeah, there we go. So that's my first finished object. I then went on, as I suggested in my last video, and I made another ripple bralette. That is what this is called. Yes, that's Breeze Racerback. Okay, I made another ripple bralette. This one is a gift. This is a size small. I know it looks really small, but it will stretch quite a lot. It's for my niece. She's normal cup size, so like probably a B cup, so this will fit just fine. She had surgery. She also has some stomach issues. She has Crohn's disease, and she had surgery as a result of having that, and she was feeling very bad about her body, and I just wanted to make her something that was like body positive. So she's getting this, and when I show you my whips, I'm making her a Breeze Racerback too. I was not inspired to make her something until I had already started and cast on my second Breeze Racerback. I had actually shown the cast on last time, but I finished it. This is my dark, moody 80s Breeze Racerback. I love the way the yarn pooled into these lightning bolt stripes. It's just so great. This was meant to be sock yarn. I had actually originally bought it before I realized that I didn't like making socks. So I'd bought it to make socks for one of my sons. And it's been sitting in my stash for a couple years. And yeah, I love that this is a one skein project, so I get to take some of those gorgeous single skeins. I'm down to 89 if you're keeping count. Last 2 weeks ago I had 90, so this took one. Maybe I'm down to 88. Anyway, I knit this in the time and I've worn it like pretty much every other day. It's been on my body, so it's already gotten a lot of love and a lot of wear. The yarn, I forgot to tell you, the yarn on my ripple bralette was all scrap. So this was all scrap. I did a gradient. I had used these same colors in my arboreal sweater that I made about 12 or 15 months ago. And I don't remember exactly. I think this is Primrose, and I know that these other two are some of the surprise colors that I got from GarnStories. And I did do some striping in, which I think you can see. So as I was running out of one color, I started to stripe in the next color. I just did two rows, all the way up, and then when the dark purple was gone, I did some of this purpley orange witchy color. And then as I was running out of that, I striped in the second color too, doing the same thing, two rows. So the third color. The third color is really just the top of the bralette and then the straps. But I think it's great. I think it works. And this yarn is 3 Irish Girls. It is, I think I threw the tag away. It's Adorn Luxe, and I got it at Eat, Sleep, Knit. 2 years ago at least 2 years ago. But it's beautiful. It's called Sexy MF. So all of that will be in my show notes. All my yarn stuff, and on screen too. You probably already saw it. Those are my 3 finished objects. My oh, that's why my computer keeps going off. My works in progress, the 2 works in progress that I cast on as soon as I was done with those. When I finished my Racerback tee, I cast on one for my niece to go with her bralette there. So, and luckily she's a smaller size. So, oh, I didn't finish telling you, I knit a size medium, and this was a 1 skein project for me. This skein was 420 yards, and I didn't use it all. I still have a little bit left, you know, enough to probably scrap into something. I think the pattern reads 460, but for me in my knitting with my gauge, I know now that a medium or less is going to be 1 skein or smaller. And my niece is smaller than me, so I'm making size small for her. So this is her Breeze Racerback. This is, it's also striping really beautifully. This is another Garn Story. The funny thing about this Garn Story, I think I have the tag. I think it's called Rhythm. I had this in, no, I don't have the tag. Okay, anyway. I had this skein in my D-stash. It was on my D-stash page for at least a year. Many months for sure. And I was looking in, someone bought some of my stash that I have on my D-stash page, a skein or 2, and I was looking in there. I opened up the drawer and I saw this. My niece's favorite color is yellow, and I'd already done a purple bralette, so I thought, I'm gonna make this because it's got this beautiful gold and periwinkle blue, and I thought that would be, it would, not that it would match, but it would go with, it would hang well with her bralette, and I think it works. I'm gonna warn you, you probably will not see these together on my channel, because as soon as I finish this, I'm halfway done with it, so I'll probably finish it this weekend. It will get packaged up and shipped off to her because she's in recovery, and I want to get it to her while she can still wear it. Her birthday's coming up too, so hopefully it'll make it to her way before that. So she gets a little gift. I'm so excited to. We'll share pictures of her wearing it if she sends me some. So my other project that got a lot of knitting this week was I'm doing gift knitting. You proud of me? I started cast on, and I'm almost finished with the Vertice Unites baby blanket. I have a friend who's going to give birth in October, and her shower's coming up, and I was thinking about making her a baby sweater. And then I thought, I remembered for myself, like I got a handful of, if you hear crinkling, it's my kitty. Should I show you? Do you want to see? Look at him. There he is. Hi, Momo. Hi, Mista. You're in the mess on the bed. All the wool, all the warm wool. Cat break. We took a little cat break. Kitty break. Okay, so yeah, Vertices Unite. I remembered myself. I got 4 handmade blankets when my first son was born, and I used them until the kids were 2 or 3 years old, and so they got a lot of use. And of course, you know, when you give someone something, every time they use it, they think of you and they remember your generosity and the handcrafting. I definitely was planning to make her something. I thought I would make a baby sweater, but I was like, that's going to get like 2 months of use, where a blanket will get 2 years. And my friend is a very colorful person and loves rainbow and colors, and they also believe in non-binary gender options and all of that. So I knew that I could really go crazy with the colors for this. So I pulled out all of my scraps. I found the most perfect scrap project. This is the most perfect scrap project. Also, I have excuses to buy rainbow skeins now because the rainbow skein brought it all together. Single rainbow skeins. I am now going to be looking for single rainbow skeins to a limit. I'll only buy a couple here and there. But I took out all my, this is a DK weight blanket. So I took out all my scraps, so my superwash DK weight scraps, and kind of put them together. I made a little pile of by color. So I did pink. I had one almost full skein of yellow. I did a pile of blue, and I had some multicolor highly speckled ones. So I put those together, and then I ended up throwing this orange color in with the pink, because I had a practically full skein of orange. So orange got mixed in with the pink, and then I ended up throwing in a little purple too with the multicolor speckles, because I had some what were pale speckles, and I also had I ended up switching out. I had a pale lavender, if you remember it from one of the sweaters that I made in the past. I had a pale lavender Aran weight that's really gray toned, and it was kind of dragging the whole color palette down. So I took that out and I grabbed a rainbow skein of fingering weight yarn that I had already caked, because I was planning on, I had that in my D-stash for a while. Nobody ever bought it. And I had caked it because I was planning to use it for mittens. I was going to make mittens that I never made. I had sort of been kicking around the idea of making mittens, and so it was caked and ready to go. And I remembered that 2 strands of fingering weight equal DK. So that just after I remembered that, then I was looking at my fingering weight scraps too, and I was able to incorporate some of them to extend colors and stuff. So the funny thing was, this panel, the fingering weight, each color, the pattern calls for 5 colors, so I really winged it on some of the colors by doing the groupings that I did. But none of those colors called for more than 200 yards, and usually DK weight, you get pretty close to 200, or you get a little over 200 yards in a skein. So I figured I was well within. I knew the yellow wasn't going to make it. Like, I knew the yellow would only go so far, but I figured I was well within range with all the other colors. But the fingering weight, I thought, no problem. It's 40 yards, so double it, 220, should be fine. Nope. This is almost the entire skein right here. So I went back in my stash and found a second, which I think you can see better here. I found a second rainbow skein, and in this section here where I was supposed to do rainbow alternating with blue, I was able to use the, this is Knitted Wit Fairy Garden. I was able to use the Knitted Wit up to about here, and then I switched to Junk Yarn Holly Go Lightly, which was the Vogue Knitting Live color in 2018. And then I ran out of blue. So then I just decided to continue with the let me show this closer. The Holly Go Lightly color. I just decided to finish this panel with those colors, but I think it looks fine. Like, I stressed a lot when I ran out of the blue, because I don't have anything even, well, I do have fingering weight, but it would take a whole skein just to do a little bit. So I'm happy to be able to use up scraps. So yeah, that actually brings me down by 2 more single skeins in my fingering weight, because both those rainbow skeins were in my single weight stash. So I may even be down to 87. Yeah, working through my stash. Are you proud of me? So yeah, I just have to, I'm almost done. This is practically the whole thing right here. It's all garter. You do a lot, you can see, I did a little bit more. You do a lot of this, 2 rows or 1 garter ridge, and then switch to a second color. So you do a lot of that in almost the whole entire blanket. I did change, like this section here was supposed to be all 1 color, and I mixed in some fingering weight purple, 2 strands of fingering weight purple in there. And I think, no, that was 2 colors, and this is 1 color. So there's really just 1 section that's 1 solid color, where there was supposed to be more than that. If you're following the pattern and you're just using 5 sort of semi-solid or nearly solid colors. So I think he recommends mostly solid colors. I think 1 or 2 speckles. But in the pattern, it's really clear. He shows you the layout. He shows you which 2 colors you're putting together and how the colors are laying together, so you can figure out what 2 colors you want to interact with each other. because not every color interacts with all of them, all the others. So yeah, I am almost done with this. I will definitely have this next time though, because the baby shower where I'm going to be gifting this isn't for another month, so I'm fine. As soon as I finish knitting the ridges in this panel here, I will be doing an I-cord bind off all the way around, because I have a lot of sections that are on waste yarn right now, waiting for me to come around and pick those stitches up. And I'm going to do the bind off. I have a almost full skein of this Pearl Soho worsted weight, what do they call it? Worsted twist, I think. But it's in the navy color. I thought that would be a nice, go with everything kind of color. We know the baby will be a boy. However, I found out yesterday, I wish that I'd known sooner, that her favorite color is green. Mom's favorite color is green, and so is Dad's. So I could have used a lot of green and done a green blanket, but I didn't know. So I don't know. The blue and yellow in the middle they invoke green, right? Blue and yellow make green. And there's a lot, it's multicolor, so hopefully it'll be a nice accent in the green nursery that they're planning. So yeah, I'm so excited. I realized, okay, I don't think I can use non-superwash unless my non-superwash scrap, unless I'm really careful with who I gift that to, because this at least could be washed in the machine and stuff, which is really key when you have baby stuff. But I'm so excited that I found a really good scrap project. That's a really good scrap project. So now I know what I'm doing with all my scrap, and I have an excuse to buy DK weight rainbow skeins because a rainbow section in that blanket just kind of pulls everything together. And they're babies. I don't like pastels on babies. I like bright colors. So I was super excited to when I decided I was going to make a blanket, I was scrolling through blanket patterns. I'd completely forgotten that Stephen West had made that pattern. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I want to make a Stephen West pattern. Baby blanket, yes. By the way, he put out his own statement about everything. And he has the most followers of anyone on Instagram, I think, except maybe Andrea Mowry, who also put out a statement. So yeah, Stephen... He put out a really good statement, and he moderated. I can't even imagine what it's like to moderate thousands of comments. Yeah, a little aside. Yeah, so that's all my knitting. And now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about spinning, about my Tour de Fleece, and how I don't really know what I'm doing. I joined the Babbles Travels and Sew Pearls. I think it's Sew Pearls. I'll change it on the screen if I'm wrong. I joined their spin along, or their team for the Tour de Fleece, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I posted the first skein that I finished though since July 6th, which is this gorgeous skein. Look at this thing. I am so happy with this. Now this is a merino and silk blend that was combed together. So I don't notice, when I'm spinning, when I was spinning this and I came to a silk section, I knew I was in a silk section. With this, I don't know that I'm in a silk section at all. It's just all kind of blended together. And it made the most gorgeous, softest yarn. This skein, it's 600 yards. It's my first fingering weight that I was able to make. And it has been set. I set it, and yeah, I love it. It's from Kim's Dye Yarn. I'm going to show you. I bought four pieces of it. Hang on. I'm being inarticulate, and I will show you. Let me just put this down. It didn't come like this. It actually came looking more like a skein of yarn, and then I just wound it into a loose ball, like a really loose, squishy ball. But it's Kim's Dye Yarn. I have her tag here. I love Kim. She's a good follow too, and she's great about when you post, at least for me, when I've posted stuff by her, made from her products. She always comments and says something sweet. So yeah, the colorway is called Sunday Brunch, and this is 2 ounces. Each of the balls are 2 ounces. They're 80/20 merino silk. And I was deliberately, you're gonna see I bought a few more fleece to spin. You're gonna see I was really trying hard to not buy red, just until I don't want to buy more red, because what if I don't wear it? And yeah, meow. So yeah, this is what it looked like at the start, and what happens is that these splotches, when you're spinning, you can really see how the fleece comes out of the roving. So this is pencil roving, and I think, if I recall right, this was a oopsie order that Kim made. Like, she didn't know that she bought pencil roving, and she ended up, but she went ahead and dyed it and put it for sale in her store. So that's what I mean by pencil roving. So it's very thin, and I actually think that it's 2 pieces of pencil. So because there's a very clear division, you can see it right there. So I think I could pull it apart further if I wanted, and that would probably make smaller skeins. So I would end up with like a 300 yard skein or so, instead of the 600 yards that I ended up with. Because what I did was I got 4 balls. I spun 1 ball on one bobbin, 1 ball on another bobbin, and then I plied them, and it took forever. And I knew I was getting a lot of yardage. I knew I was doing fingering weight because I kept checking it, and I knew it was going to be a lot of yardage. I thought it would be around 480 or so, maybe 500. I didn't realize I got 600, but I got 600. So I'm hoping I get 600 again, or close to it, in the second, and using the third and fourth spin. One of these is on my spinning wheel, almost done. I'll finish that tonight probably, and the other one is here. That'll be the next spin. So I wanted to show you too what it looks like when you spin it. So those pink splotches, those one little splotch ends up being this long length of pink, but then when it gets plied with the other bobbin, those colors, you can also see some gold in there, I think, and you can see this is where the blue kind of turns into a soft lavender when it overlaps with pink, which is in this crevice here. I don't know if you can see it. But all of those colors, there's also brown, which reminded me of coffee. So as I was spinning it, I was like, I don't know what the pink and blue were. Maybe that's what you're wearing, but I was like, yellow, eggs, brown, coffee, here's my coffee. So there's a lot of, the one that's on my spinning wheel right now has a lot of brown in it, but I love it, and I'm so excited. So 600, if I end up with 1,200 yards, even 1,000 yards, that's enough for a sweater. So I will be making, I don't know what with this, something special, but it is just so, it spins up so gorgeous. Just, I also have been on her site looking at what she has left of this pencil roving. She still has some left. So I may end up buying a little bit more. I'm trying to think about it. I hope she accidentally buys more, because it is so soft. I hope she saved herself some. That was her first question when I posted the finished skein. She said, oh my gosh, how soft is it? And I was like, it is so soft, like so shockingly soft. So what I'll do with this was what I had left on one of the bobbins. I finished one bobbin, and then this was what I had left after I plied it. What I will do is see if the same thing happens. If I end up with one bobbin running out, this will fill in for the second bobbin, the one that runs out. I'll end up like doing a little overlap of the ply when I'm plying it. And then if I end up with extra, I may end up doing the Andean spin, where you just can spin up all the rest, because there's nothing else to put this with. Though I've seen some really good what they call Frankenstein spins, where people take a little bit of extra, like whatever extra is on their bobbins for a bit, and then just make it all one big skein. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of bobbins, so and my bobbins for my spinning wheel are about $20 each. So I think I have 6 maybe, no, I think I have fewer than that. No, more. 2, 4, 6, 7 or 8. I have 7 or 8 bobbins, so I don't really want to, I don't know, I don't really want to tie them up that much. So yeah, that was one of my spins. And my other spin is I am wrapping it up with this. So if you've watched before, I had bought 24 ounces of this fiber from Blue Moon Alpaca. She's based in Pennsylvania. Kim Dye's Yarn is based in Virginia, and she's been in business a really long time, since 2010. Been around a while. I met her actually at Vogue, so I don't feel like I know her, but I like her. I don't know, I just really like her. So I spun up about another 4 ounce, approximately 4 ounce skein 2-ply in this Happily Ever After from Blue Moon Alpaca. So I now have 6 skeins, and I have about, this is spinning up into a DK weight, DK2 light worsted, probably my first skein. This has been like my spinning travel skein right now. Like, not that I'm traveling with it, but like it's kind of, I've been doing a skein and then switching to other things. So there's been definite progression from my first skein of this to now. And I'm planning to make a throw with this, because this is really highly sparkly. Like, I don't know if you can see how sparkly it is. It's just too sparkly for me to wear. Like, I would not wear this. But as a throw, I think what I will do is hold 2 strands together and knit with big fat needles, like 20 millimeter or 25 millimeter, and do a really loose 1x1 rib. So I had been making this, sorry, I had been making this for the spin make along that Babel's Traveling, Grace O'Neill from Babel's Traveling Yarns, and Mina Phillips from Knitting Expat are doing. So I think the spinning portion is wrapping up now this month, and then the make portion is coming up. So I'm on track. I'm on track, because I had just a dab left. I had a little less than 3 ounces left that I spun onto 1 bobbin. So that's what the single ply looks like. And what I'll do with this, I'm going to try a different way to ply it. It will still be 2-ply, but instead of having 2 bobbins on the tensioned Lazy Kate that I have, I'm going to make this into a center pull ball, and then ply using the strand from the outside and the strand from the center. So someone else I can't remember who, had just posted on Instagram that this is, I think it might be Sits and Spins. She had posted on Instagram, sorry, thought I heard someone, that she loves to ply that way, and when she does 2-ply, that's the way she plies. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was just thinking that maybe I would try that. So when she said that's the only way she plies, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to try it. I'm going to see how I like it. Because she said one of the advantages of doing it that way, I think it's just my cat banging over there. Sorry, I'm distracted. Is that when you cake this, when you cake it off the bobbin, you smooth out the twist. Because when you're spinning, if you're not a spinner, you end up doing some areas that are kind of tight and then some that aren't as tight, so that's supposed to smooth out, even out the twist, and then it makes better yarn. So we'll see how that goes. So that's something I'm hoping to get to this week as well. I'm a little behind on my posting online with on both the Tour de Fleece team page and on Instagram. I just being sick just really threw me. Okay, so that's all my spinning. The only thing I have left now to show you is acquisition. So I'm sorry, this is kind of a little long one. It's, again, having discussions about what's going on in the community can take up a lot of time. So, okay. I pre-ordered some yarn quite a while ago, and it came this last week, and it is from one of my favorites, Stitch Together Studio. It is a Targhee sock blend. I think, okay, yeah, 90% superwash Targhee and 10% nylon. So it is a slightly larger skein, so you can see how like compared. It's 115 grams, and I think it's a very generous 4 something. Hang on, I'll tell you in a second. 465 yards, but 115 grams. This was a pre-order from her Game of Thrones group. So she had done one pre-order and it was very successful. So then she did a second round of pre-orders. And my first round of pre-orders I bought, if you remember, I bought the Stark color way, which she named all the colors by the house motto from Game of Thrones. So the Stark color was Winter's Coming, of course. So I bought that. I bought 2 sets of sock sets, and I'm planning to make a very simple Elton cardigan and just kind of mix the colors together in some sort of way. And that is on my to-do list very soon. And I went ahead and ordered the Baratheon color. So this is called Ours is the Fury. And I got a sweater's quantity. So she, instead of selling them as sock set, she was just selling them as skeins, single skeins. So I bought a sweater's quantity. I just really loved the autumnal feel, the brown with the gold and that beautiful blue-green. I think it's going to be just gorgeous. And she just has such a way with speckles. I really, really love it. She is in, I think oh no, is it in here? I was going to say, I think I threw the card away. I think she's in Iowa. And I think her name is Kayluna or Kaylina. I'm not sure which. But that's really typical of her yarn if you're not familiar. And she always gives a really cute, sweet card. So she says, I hope you love spinning these. That is because it was from the fiber that I also bought from her. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do with those. I'm envisioning some sort of cardigan, but who knows? I'm going to just put them away and let them marinate. I have a lot of sweater quantities and plans. I have a lot of plans. So I will be working on those. Yeah, so that brings me to my spinning stash acquisitions. So sticking with let me just bring this over here. Sticking with the Stitch Together Studio. So it's so funny to me, like all of these companies that I never really paid attention to fiber because I had, I was interested in spinning, but I was like, someday. And then I was like, someday is now. So I just went ahead and did it. So now all of these dyers who I love and adore for their yarn, I'm learning make fiber and dye fiber too. So especially because Tour de Fleece is happening right now. I never really explained what Tour de Fleece is. It's probably because I don't really know, but as best I can tell, you're supposed to make a goal and you can do like different things on different days. Like you can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, all these different days. And yeah. I just made a goal to spin every day, and I didn't do any. I'm not doing any of the challenge days because every spin is not challenging, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So anyway, I want to keep fleece supply going. So I bought 2 8-ounce packages of fleece from Stitch Together Studio. This is combed top. So it comes like this. And this big, fat, fluffy. These are so colorful. I don't know. I mean, what I think I need to do is lay it out and decide how I'm going to spin it. So these are going to take some thought. So I'm going to finish up the silk, the pencil roving. I'm going to finish this project first, and the blanket yarn that I'm making, I'm going to finish those first, and then I may move on to this. So I ended up buying, she didn't have more than 8 ounces because I'm all about the sweater quantity, though now, also that Vertice United, that would be amazing with hand spun. So I might do one of those for I'll have to be very careful who I gift it to, because like I said, it won't be machine washed, but I could maybe make a throw. I also bought this color, which is called Marshmallow Fluff, another 8 ounces, same comb top. I kind of thought that, you know, since 8 ounces, 16, that's a sweater quantity. I thought, you know, maybe somehow I can work these together. So what I really think I need to do is take a little bit of this one and a little bit of the other, do just a dab on 2 bobbins, ply it together, and then see how I like it, before I end up doing a whole crap ton and then go, I don't know, I like this. See, I'm learning. And then the only other thing I bought, there was a little sale by Alternate, which is a spinning supplier, as far as I can tell. There's a shop maybe in England, but Amy of Stranded Dyework, she recommended, she posted that they were having a sale. So I went ahead and bought some of their zero waste Rolags, and I bought this color is called Snitch for Harry Potter, the gold snitch. I just thought the gold might be a really nice complementary color to some of the other single skeins I have. The ones that I had made with the cuttlefish from Classy Squid. She also posted, it is really hard. It's hard to resist because these are also inexpensive. So like these were £7 each, which is more like kind of like around $10 each. So I bought 250-gram packages of them, which gives me 100 grams, so that'll be like 1 skein. But it's really hard to resist. I have to just tell myself I have to do this with indie dyers with their yarn too, unless it's a special thing. I just have to say there will be other pretty bats and other pretty Rologs when I'm ready to buy. I don't need more right now, because Classy Squid posted more cuttlefish, which are just so adorable, so beautiful. They're little and they're like 2 or 3 ounces, and they're a mixture, and they're a fun spin. And they're fast because they're only 2 ounces, so you just like whip through them. I may break down and buy some because she also has them marked down. But yeah, she's also really awesome. Love her. Yeah. I have one more thing to show you. It is my next cast on, and I'm blaming Dunderknit. It is blaming Dunderknit time. I had seen her video where she talked about Rhinebeck, and she said she would be going, and she said she was going to start maybe a Glorious Gold along because she is famous for loving gold. If you don't watch her, her podcast is called Knitting Vicariously. I'll have it linked in the, or written anyway, in the show notes so you can easily find it. She has a big following, so I'm sure you're familiar. I have had some gold yarn sitting aside, a sweater's quantity, and I have this pattern picked out too for a gold sweater for a very long time. So I said to myself, if she does this, I am joining, and that'll be my Rhinebeck sweater, because I hadn't really quite decided what was going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. The idea of a Rhinebeck sweater is that, sure, you can wear any sweater, but the idea of a Rhinebeck sweater is that you're creating something specifically for Rhinebeck. And it's a virginal wear. It's the first time you're wearing it at Rhinebeck. So I have this gorgeous sweater's quantity of O Wool. O Wool is a organic merino superwash. I believe it's machine washable. This is her fingering weight. She has different weights. She's near me in New Jersey, here in North America, in northern New Jersey. Doesn't live too far. Nothing's very far in New Jersey unless you have to go through a really congested area like Newark or something like that. Then you may take longer. But yeah, anyway, I have a sweater's quantity of this gorgeous, gorgeous gold called Feldspar. I just love it. I think it's good on my skin. And I wanted to do something different. I had planned this before. I've had this yarn caked and ready to go for quite a while. I've swatched it too, so I know I swatched it even for the sweater that I was planning to make. I'm going to make the Chauncey, and for the second color so I'm putting that on screen now. In the second color, for my yoke color, I wanted to do something different than the typical gray, black, or cream that people tend to put with gold. So I chose to put a spin cycle yarn with it, and the one I chose is a rainbow. So this will be rainbow in the knit, in the yoke, so it'll change from color to color. I needed slightly more than one, so I bought a second skein. These skeins, by the way, this color is called Truth Bomb, and when you see them on the shelf or on a website, they don't look like they're going to be rainbow. They just you're kind of looking at them going, what is this? Like, okay, it's some sort of blue, maybe there's some yellow. But when you cake them, you find the rainbow. So, actually, you can see the rainbow better on this side. So my second skein, you can see, is a little bit duller colored. I think I'm going to start with this one right here, and then finish out with this one, because I think this lavender is going to be a natural, because I can see lavender plying through this green. I think that'll be a good match there, I think. The only other thing I was thinking, my caked skein fell, is that the center colors, those like autumnal browns and stuff that are right there, might be a little close to my gold, where the other cake, I don't really have that issue. Like, they're not that golden. There is a little touch of yellow, but I think it's more contrasting than it's looking on screen. Like, this is darker than what you're seeing. So that, I don't know, haven't started it yet, but this is going to get cast on next. This will be my next cast on. I do want to finish the Alice cardigan. So it's another Isabel Kramer pattern that I have to do the sleeves on. I did not give it any love over the past couple weeks because I got excited about the gifts I was knitting. And I've been spinning quite a lot, so I want to get those sleeves done. I don't naturally leave sleeves off. I'm usually like, once I get to the sleeves, I'm like, I'm almost done, and I just push right through and finish it. But in this case, it's a wool sweater that I'm not going to wear at all until September or October, so I wasn't really pushing myself to finish it, where these other things are things that I perceive as wear now, and things like the Racerback and the bralette and stuff are just things that I perceived as what I could wear now. So I will return to that, and I will finish that hopefully by the next time I podcast. I'll have that done. The baby blanket will be done. The spinning will be done that I have planned, and I will have a new cast on. Maybe even the Game of Thrones cardigan too. That would be great, because that is wear now, or wear soon. Not wear during 100 degrees, but wear in the air conditioner. That works. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for participating in my giveaway, and thank you so much for your comments and your support and your love. I love you right back, and I will see you next time. Bye.